I think it's better if you guys teach. Carbon monoxide, odorless, colorless, poisonous gas. Yeah, I'm obviously not clicking the right thing here. But is this locked? Oh, caused by what? He said it so perfectly. Incomplete burning. And apparently I'm not going to get that word out, so let's just write it. Incomplete burning of carbon. He said incomplete burning of what? You said something like in gas, but at the end of the day, it's carbon not burning completely. And I put a picture of a cigarette because if you notice how when a cigarette burns, you got all that left over. Same thing like a fireplace. Okay, so all my things are locked. Let me figure. So carbon monoxide is CO right here. So we cover everything that was asked of you. And as he mentioned, it's highly linked to transportation. And I had the picture of a car here. I'm going to move it back just for that. I want you to know that it's mainly linked to car exhaust. Okay, so when you think of carbon monoxide, you don't want to think of fuel burning, because when you think of fuel burning, you think of carbon in what sense? Burning of fossil fuels leads to the emissions of our #1 greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, okay? So you want to think of the car exhaust or that incomplete part of the burning that leads to the carbon monoxide. And then obviously any kind of organic burning is always going to lead to that as well. Right? So and unfortunately there is a section on the AP exam which links to like diseases and parts of your body which we can never know, but you want to know that carbon monoxide, when you see this, the word hemoglobin or blood and oxygen levels, that they're correlated. Okay, you don't have to know the full, you'll never have to know the full process of what happens with the poisoning, but you want to know that it's associated to blood and hemoglobin. Okay. Next is carbon dioxide, also colorless, odorless, and they will ask you questions like that. Colorless, odorless, he put, you can't hear it, right? But no, it's true because they consider carbon monoxide so deadly and you don't really know that you're receiving the poisoning. We know carbon dioxide is linked to, heavily linked to the excess of it because of industrialization. It's part of the carbon cycle, but we know it's linked to what? Global warming or climate change. View of how carbon dioxide is emitted. Any organic burning, decomposition of organisms, the burning of fossil fuels. It is released directly from oceans, right? And it is released through respiration. Did I miss anything? Volcanic eruptions, okay? Which is really organic burning in a sense, I guess. Alrighty, next is nitrous oxide. Directly linked to the burning of fossil fuels and transportation again, part of the nitrogen cycle. Colorless and odorless, once again. I always think of sulfur as that bad smelling one. So we went from colorless, odorless to colorless with an odor that's, has anybody ever used sulfur soap? See how it goes? This is the bottom line. And we know sulfur is extremely linked to coal. Well, we don't know, but we will learn more about that. I'm telling you right now. So most fossil fuels will produce, actually, most fossil fuels, no. Fossil fuels produce every primary pollutant when burned, but coal is the highest linked to sulfur because it has high amounts of sulfur. Have you ever heard of clean coal technology? What they're doing is removing sulfur. 1/3 comes from the cycle, as usual. It can be produced through organic burning and volcanic eruptions, and all those are going back to the cycles. So I'm not really like, if you need to review your cycles and emissions of these compounds, that's probably a good idea because that's what I'm referencing when I'm talking here. We've got, so this one is new, which, oh, it's linked to acid rain and smog, and all of them are linked to respiratory infections and irritations of the nose, eyes, and throat because that has to do with your respiratory system, or the first line of defense, I would say, in your respiratory system. Hydrocarbons, most caused by incomplete burning or evaporation. Who said that? Somebody said that, trying to get credit. It was you. Should have gotten credit then.
I did get credit.
Okay. Paints, solvents, cleaners, aerosol spray cans, and of course transportation as usual. So when you go back to the original pie chart, and transportation is the leading cause of air pollution, and it actually is directly linked to all primary air pollutants. So it weakens your immune system and central nervous system. Again, respiratory infections, and also like major organ damage like kidneys and liver. Particulate matter, or PM, it's just particles, in the air, suspended particles, and they could be both solid and liquid because water is out there, obviously kind of taking it in. And some common examples are dust, wildfires, and sea salt, believe it or not, is high up there. A lot of, when you think of construction, mining, think of that being a direct result. And again, transportation, and then you've got natural sources, which would include like what I just mentioned, dust, wildfires, and sea salt. Pollen, particles, like when it kind of evaporates or disintegrates. Like specific examples for slides. At the end of the day, all of them cause respiratory issues and eye irritation, right? You want to know that carbon monoxide is toxic and deadly, but you don't have to know specific things linked to each one. Does that make sense? Like runny nose was on a slide and it wasn't on others. It's all of them. You get runny nose from a